Hi guys, it's Monday again, and that means it is time for me to share some knowledge with you. As some of you may know, I have been doing this for a very long time. I am a super professionalist, and so I have a lot of experience producing all sorts of educational material, educational games even. So just get ready. I'm about to drop some knowledge that will change your perception of drawing. Okay, I will just get to it. So I want to talk first of all, thank you for your support. Second of all, this video I will be doing it again in one take, so I'm sorry, it's not going to be perfect or anything, but I don't want to waste too much time on it. And I want to talk about the way people draw anime eyes in this one, if you don't mind. So here I have a couple of very bad examples of how often beginner artists do this for some reason. You probably know what I mean. Sometimes you see the drawing where the artist obviously doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to style of the drawing. It could be very the anatomy could be good, but the entire drawing could look okay, but the freaking eyes would just be something like this, like this. Just two lines and some weird thing and some weird lightning inside, and they will be they just look weird. I'm sure you know what I mean. So let's not do this. Let me just share some of my observations when it comes to drawing eyes like this. So yeah, first of all, sorry, what the hell? So much for one take. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, so when it comes to eyes, anime eyes can be all sorts, all shapes and sizes, right? You know that better than anyone, you freaking weeps. I love you. I'm also a weep, so I can say that, right? Anyway. The eyes. The thing is, with anime eyes, often, very often, the pupil, let me just give you an example. This is a more or less photorealistic eye. That's how it would look, right? Something like this, probably. I don't know. So this is your, proper eye, not stylized too much. Well, more or less, I guess. Anyway, you know the rule, right? The eyeball is is circular. It's a ball. So the pupil is here. Everybody knows that. But when it comes to anime pupils, they often look like this. They often don't look circular at all. They look like this, something like this maybe, and yeah. So, and the thing is, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's obvious to some artists out there who are way more skilled than I am at this. But for some reason, I never noticed. I didn't notice that for a very long time, that the anime eyes actually like this, not eyes, the pupils are not circular or whatever. And then when I did notice that, I started to thinking why is it like that? And probably, well, most likely and maybe obviously, I don't know. But the thing is, with anime eyes, they are always the characters. Since the characters are so energetic, they are and young and whatever. Their eyes are really wide open. When eyes are wide open like that, if you put a circular shape pupil like you're supposed to, the eye will look, you know, surprised or terrified or whatever, the facial expression of the character. So if you do it properly, right? And if you like give him the eye, the anime eye like this, if you give that anime eye a pupil that is, you know, big and follows the rules, which are, it's supposed to touch the rules of the human eye, you know, for the most part. It should more or less touch the bottom eyelid, and it should touch the pupil. The upper eyelid should touch the pupil. So if we do this and try to follow the human eye rules and do it here, it's gonna look different, weird, because it's gonna be too big for this small eye. So the only way to do this is to give the eye like this, you know, this freaking oval shape, and make sure it still follows the rules. Like it touches here a little bit, and it touches the pupil, the center of the eye touches the upper lid. The thing is, I guess what happened was that like this is the normal eye and like photorealistic human eye, and if you stretch it out like this, it stretches out the freaking pupil itself also, so it becomes like this. Anyway, I don't know, maybe I am overcomplicating this, but I thought that was an interesting observation for me, at least, that like, and this way, like it gets easier to understand, at least for me, why anime eyes look like this. Like you know, it makes sense. It should be stretched out, but at the same time, it should still follow the major rules of the human eye for it to look good, not for it to not look like this, you know. So yeah, that's the thing. And let's just, I'm obviously not like the best guy to explain this, but I have like my own way of drawing anime esque eyes and pupils and whatever that look more or less okay. So we're not going to touch the shape of the eyelids or whatever. They could like, there could be so many different variations, but let's just I'll just show you how I usually make the pupil. And there are like simple few tricks that I use, the simplest way to do the pupil, and for it to still look okay. So the first thing, you know, the shape, like I said, it's usually oval. It touches the lower lid, not always, but depending on where the person is looking. Anyway, it touches the lower lid. The upper lid covers some part of the pupil. And normally the rule that the pupil should also touch the upper lid, not the pupil. Yeah, the pupil, right? The iris is here, the pupil is in the center. So the pupil is supposed to touch the upper lid. So we give it like, I would do it, there's like a million of different ways to draw this, but I would give it like a normal pupil without anything, like just obliques or whatever. It's just a black dot, well, oval shaped. I would give it just one oblique, one light reflection, whatever you call it. That's usually enough for me, like this. Like it's from, light comes from here, so it is here. And another thing when it comes to eyes, I'm sure many of you know this, but in case some of you don't, the things with the eyes, if we take about the I'm trying to explain the way the light hits the pupil and why it's a bit backwards when it comes to shading. So, you know, when it comes to circular shapes, if it's a solid shape like made of wood or I don't know, cement or whatever, concrete, when the light hits the thing, well, let's say light comes from here. So you know, when the light hits the ball, you know, it's gonna illuminate this part, and this part will be in the shadow, and there probably gonna be some kind of reflex here, a reflection of the light from the surface and light up this part a little bit. But the main idea is the brightest part will be here, where the light hits the surface. Like, that's obvious. That's how we usually imagine light hitting the surface, like the light is here. But if the ball is made of glass, for example, or if it's a jewel or whatever, the light will hit it here, and it will be kind of backwards. It's still gonna what do you call it? The reflection will probably still be here, like maybe another one here. But the thing is, the shadow will be on the upper side, the darker part of the, well, if we simplify things. And the most bright part will be here. So you see the light comes from the top, the light comes from here, but when we color this thing, the light will be here, like the most bright part will be here, and just normal light here, and it will be darker here. So this will show us that it's a jewel or a glass or whatever. Why am I talking about this? Because when it comes to eyes, it's the same with like the glass ball. The reflection is here, but the freaking shadow is on the upper side of the eye, even though the light comes from there. And the brightest part will be here. Like, there will be like one or a few bright spots on many anime whatever eyes down here, even though the light comes from there and the eye is circular. So anyway, that's something to keep in mind. And when you do it like this, it usually makes the eye look okay and right, because you make it dark in the center and just give it some shadow on the upper side of the eye. And another thing is the rim of the iris. It should be like really thick. Well, it does not have to be, but that's how I usually do it, and it makes it look okay, at least. And well, let's do the leads. The leads should be extra thick because there's like, well, if it's a girl, of course, obviously, because it's there's like a lot of eyelashes or maybe makeup, and they usually just form one big shape of darkness. And anyway, when you do like when you give a character just really thick eyelashes, that usually conveys the idea that it's makeup or a lot of eyelashes, and that's it. It's a girl. And well, since we discussed this, let's also mention this. I always put this one fold here. It's just a small thing, but it usually gives the eye a bit more definition. It looks a bit more like an eye. And so yeah, the eyebrow will probably go here somewhere. We'll do it like this. And that's about it. I don't know, I hope this was helpful. This tutorials I'm recording are obviously just to fill like space in my Monday posts, but I appreciate you guys watching them, and thank you for your support. If you have any ideas for what should I do next Monday, I don't think I have many things left to teach you, to be honest, but I could just make some drawings and talk about stuff for like 10 to 20 minutes. And yeah, I hope this was interesting, at least for some of you. Thank you for your support, guys. You're awesome, and I'll see you next week.